Saitama, a superhero with the power of parody and gag on his side. His strength is limitless, and ever since breaking his limiter, no amount of power used against him has managed to make him show true concern. This is because, as stated by one himself, Saitama's level of power is a gag. This makes trying to power scale against him relatively pointless, which a lot of people seem to lose their mind over. However, that doesn't stop many from doing so, despite Saitama's obvious stage of unending power, which has never once been shown to be in jeopardy. So rather than bust balls about the minutiae of it, I thought it'd be fun to do a very casual tier list on the type of reactions some of anime's most popular protagonists would get from One Punch Man himself if they were to engage in a misunderstanding and start fighting. I'm sure the light-hearted nature of this won't stop me from getting flamed in the comments, but hey ho, life's good. Just a quick clarification before we start, these gradings don't necessarily mean one character is strictly stronger than another for placing higher or lower. It can purely be down to the way Saitama perceives them differently due to their power set's complexity or the person's general vibe. One character's overall nature might leave more of an impression on Saitama, even if that character is destructively beneath that of another who placed worse. Alright, let's quickly punch through these tiers, which I've related to loose quotes from the series. Okay denotes that their powers or overall interaction doesn't leave much of an impression on Saitama, and he's keen to just kinda get through it. You're kinda fast implies that Saitama's impressed to some degree, even if they're nowhere near his level. Serious series is because their powers are kind of weird or because their efforts inspired him. Saitama's chosen to bust out one of his traditional or improvised killer moves, such as serious punch, serious sidesteps, etc. You're strong is a reference to when he told Boros he was strong. So I'm using that as a way to say that even though Saitama's limitlessness is too much for them, he was able to recognize the intense level they brought to the dance. And finally, we have a dream, which is a fun way of saying that Saitama's fought someone so powerful that he's begun to wonder if this is the same as that dream he had with the Subterranean King. A fight so enjoyable that it couldn't possibly be real. A fight that's taken him to new heights he's had yet to experience. Kicking things off with Gon Freaks of the anime Hunter x Hunter. If he were to somehow find his way into a scrap with Saitama, nothing he'd be able to do would really register on Saitama's radar, and more than anything, the bald hero would likely have a somewhat troubled look on his face while muttering, "Why is this kid with the clothing color scheme of a frog trying to attack me?" For all of Gon's energy and determination in battle, Saitama would obviously take it extremely easy on him and not even hit him back. So he definitely tried to end the situation peacefully, most probably by countering something like rock paper rock with a paper gesture and stopping Gon in his tracks and then clearing up any misunderstanding between them. So Gon goes into the OK tier. Dropping in everyone's favorite demon slayer now, Tanjiro Kamado. In the very unlikely situation that Saitama is viewed as a demon and Tanjiro's around to pick up the duty, similarly to Gon, there's not going to be much from Tanjiro's side that will give Saitama anything to think about. While he'll probably note that the swordplay and movements are pretty neat, we've seen Saitama deal with swords from stronger opponents than the Demon Slayer. So whether he decides to catch the sword or break it entirely, Saitama will likely clear things up by proving he's not a demon with any bad intentions and telling the swordsman to knock it off, then swiftly accepting some genuine apologies from our sweet boy Tanjiro. Then, the next time Saitama ran into Atomic Samurai, he'd probably ask him to tell his apprentices to not attack him for no reason anymore, to which Atomic would have no idea what he's talking about. Then he'd ask Iayan and the other two apprentices, and they'd be like, no idea either. And naturally, if Saitama did break Tanjiro's sword, well, you know, good luck to Tanjiro, since we know how angry the blacksmith Hotaru's gonna be. OK tier for Tanjiro. Bringing in a superhero of our own, Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. He would be a fun one for sure. He's incredibly fast, with lots of versatility in his abilities, giving Saitama some less than straightforward things to think about. Black Whip, Smoke Screen, Gear Shift, and other quirks that All Might's heir has learned to put together in expert fashion. While impressive though, of course, nothing there would really trouble Saitama, outside of making things a little awkward, since he won't genuinely be trying to end Deku for mistaking him to be some bald villain on the run, which led to this unnecessary fight. By this point in the day, Saitama will probably be wondering why energetic teenagers keep attacking him, whether it's blowing smoke away with his breath, ignoring how Gear Shift works, or keeping a straight face while Black Whips toss him left and right. Saitama will probably give Deku more credit than the others for his raw power thrown in done with his sound use of a versatile skill set, and he'll stop the fight if he notices Deku beginning to strain himself too much through the process. With an encouraging pat on the head, Saitama will tell him to save all their energy for saving all the people out there who need it, recognizing him as a talented hero who could do a lot of good. You're kind of fast tier for Deku. Itadori Yuji from the Jujutsu Kaisen anime comes in next, but unfortunately he's just not got anything on the level to bother Saitama, and his raw attributes wouldn't be too impressive to the bald hero either. It'd probably end with Saitama tanking or just effortlessly dodging whatever Itadori can toss at him before informing him that he simply got the wrong guy, and if he keeps this up then he's not going to get to the supermarket in time before it closes. Itadori's smart enough to know this baldy is on another level, and he'd probably ask him for some lessons and training, but Saitama would abruptly turn him down and say, well, he has to go and buy some eggs now. And while he's walking away, he's gonna think to himself again, why do upbeat teenagers keep attacking me lately? We're gonna put Itadori in the okay tier. And while this next one isn't technically from an anime, it's real popular right now, so I thought I'd include him. We're talking about Mark Grayson from the Amazon series Invincible. Now, this animated show's power scaling is about as steady as the stock market, but what we do know is Mark's taken heavy damage from attacks far beneath what Saitama can put out, and he's been hit by things far slower than Saitama too. However, I'm willing to throw Mark a bone here since he does have some amazing feats on the flip side. So rounding it out to somewhere in the middle, we'll say that after a chance encounter where Mark mistook Saitama as someone helping a bank robbery rather than stopping it, the A-class hero takes a flurry of Invincible's best shots before a firm uppercut or stiff chop puts Mark down for the count. Thankfully, since Saitama isn't evil, he won't turn Invincible into invisible with a punch far beyond anything Mark's ever seen. So when he wakes up and they clear the air, luckily for Cecil and the rest of planet Earth, they may have just found someone who can knock this Viltrumite invasion shit on the head. You're kind of fast for Mark Grayson from Invincible, since when he's not getting bloodied and bruised by random cyborgs or huge bugs, he's actually a genuine force of raw power. Double dipping into the Jujutsu Kaisen verse, Satoru Gojo has to get a mention too. The reason why I included him as well is because I think his limitless ability and unlimited void is an interesting aspect against Saitama, which could rely on hacks to try and outdo Saitama's natural ridiculousness. However, as we know, Saitama's ridiculousness doesn't stop at physical stats. He's entered Phoenix Man's separate dimension of his own free will, he's resisted the gravitational pull of a black hole, he's negated psychic powers, and even kicked a freaking portal away from him. Kicked a portal away. Needless to say, as cool as Gojo's powers are, Saitama would do what he does best and anti-hacks them. Gojo would talk about how Saitama can't get anywhere near him with the use of his domain and limitless, then something like this would happen with Flashy Flash. You know, just Gojo thinking he would see Saitama coming from miles away if he tried anything, then before he realizes Saitama is poking him in the side saying, you mean like this? However, whether it happens instantly or not is another story, so to give Gojo's magnificent hacks some benefit of the doubt, we can reasonably play it safe and say with a serious series maneuver, Saitama could overcome the curse technique either through sheer destructive power, like a serious punch, or an unimaginable showing of raw attributes, like a serious sprint, or something equally absurd. And again, remember, if hearing this has annoyed you, please keep in mind, Saitama's power set is a gag, a parody. An explanation like this would absolutely be the type of thing to happen. Do not try to apply sense to him. And it's at this point that I'm gonna say, this video's gone on longer than I thought it would. So I'll tell you what we'll do after this next one. From the anime of Solo Leveling, Sung Jin Woo. One day, Sung Jin was walking around, and then up pops the system with a message on his screen. Go smash that bald mother effer over there. And Sung Jin's like, whoa, never seen the system write like this before. What's going on? And then the system says, I'm sick of seeing people on the internet saying this guy could fight against Goku and Superman, and it's starting to affect my day-to-day browsing. 10 bonus stat points if you use this guy's bald head like a drum. And then Sung Jin goes, alright. So with all that being said, Sung Jin makes a play for Saitama. With all of his tricks tricks so far in the anime. The stealth, the boosts, the summonings, you name it. Now, I want to point out that I respect Sung Jin, and it's not that I don't think he's a serious guy, but I think he'll be placed in the okay tier, and it's more to do with the fact that Saitama's dealt with incredibly strong, mysterious, and straight-faced guys who hold their emotions close to their chest before, so this wouldn't leave much of an impression on him in the same way someone weaker might that has a bit more of a notable personality or heroic drive to them. This goes back to what I said at the start of the video, where someone being lower than someone else doesn't mean they're weaker than them or less impressive than them. Saitama would likely just be annoyed by this sudden inconvenience of overwhelming but weaker forces trying to trample him. Like, instead of one Speed or Sound Sonic, it's a small army of them where none of them can really do anything to him. He'll recognize that Sung Jin is formidable and fast, but it won't be anywhere to the degree that will get him to do more than raise a brow. And since Sung Jin's usual approach to strangers is, you know, kinda cold, I think Saitama would probably have forgotten about him by the next day after he punches him off to the distance somewhere and remarks about how he shouldn't be interrupting people's evening walks. And this brings us to the end of the video. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where the fuck do you think you're going? There's still some faces down there, mate. And yeah, you're right. But this video has gone a bit longer than I wanted by now. And since I didn't put those characters in the thumbnail, I feel like this doesn't all have to be done in one go. So here's what we'll do. If you guys enjoyed this video to any degree, leave a like and comment. Subscribe to the channel. This way I know that you're interested in this type of video for the channel, and I can follow this topic up with those characters yet to be tiered and more. And if no one watches this video, then I save some extra time and I can put out something else instead. This is Saitama World. Thanks for watching. Don't take this too seriously. And again, subscribe and let me know if you want me to continue this topic. Thank you.